A family on a mission to rescue this huge, historic house.
Sometimes you just take a leap of faith.
Will it survive a treacherous trek?
It's making lots of noise.
Over rough fields?
It's kind of scary to watch.
And deep ditches?
Oh!
Hauling this historic house will be nothing short of one massive move. 8 miles east of Calgary, in the vast prairies of Alberta, Joyce and Dan Enders and their 5 children live and breathe horses on this farm.
Oh! Buzz just stepped on my toe.
No.
Horses are my life. They keep me going. They are my sanity. They've always been since I was young.
Joyce has built up these thriving riding stables, caring for up to 60 horses with the help of her 4 daughters.
Go get your saddle, baby.
Above the old hayloft, Dan runs his branding agency. Despite the idyllic setting, one crucial thing is missing.
For the last 8 years, we haven't had a house.
The family of 7 is squeezed into one end of this barn.
It's a stable hands quarters. It's got 3 bedrooms in it.
They're raised in the barn. We live in the barn. It's the joke around here.
It doesn't feel like home.
Recently, the family has had more than their share of bad luck. A trip to the doctor when Joyce was pregnant with their youngest child, Dominic, was the beginning of a traumatic few years.
When I went in for my ultrasound, they found a massive tumor in my pelvis area. So we ended up having an early C-section for the baby. And through that process, he ended up in the ICU.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of the worst weeks of our life. We actually watched him die on the table, and they had to revive him.
Dominic beat the odds and is now fit and healthy. But after a rushed operation to remove the tumor, Joyce's future was less certain.
They told me I'd spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair.
I think the best way to get Joyce to do something is to tell her she can't do it.
Joyce is in remission and, bucking the doctor's expectations, she's firmly back in the saddle. Now she's decided her growing brood need a proper home, and nothing's gonna stop her.
Go, Serenity, go! The first time we drove by the house and I saw that it was red and white, I'm like, that's it, it's a sign. It's beautiful, it's what I've always liked as a little girl. I used to watch Gone with the Wind and see the big balconies off the front.
7.5 miles from the stables, this old house has been a local landmark for 95 years. Made of fir wood, the 2-story period home has spacious rooms and high ceilings. But its former owners considered demolishing it, having built a new property on their grounds. Now the Enders plan to save it by moving it to their stables and making it their home.
This house is amazing. Yeah, I'm really excited because it's actually not a barn.
The family needs to move the house 7.5 miles north to reach their stables. Across bumpy fields, dirt roads, and around tight corners. A rough journey for this antique house.
We just knew we had to have it. Just said, well, we have to take it and we'll make it work.
Dan and Joyce bought the house for a song, a deposit of just $2,500. But relocating it won't be so cheap. Moving the house and building new foundations will cost them $75,000. Renovation work and landscaping, another $160,000. In total, saving the house will hit them to the tune of $235,000.
Okay, fellas, we're on our way.
To give the old building a fighting chance, Dan and Joyce call in local house truckers, father and son team, Pat and Dwayne McCann.
Pretty big.
So it's a very old house because of the verandas and the upper deck and stuff off the back. It's a little bit more challenging.
They're just kind of sitting on there, you know. You don't know if there's 4 nails or 400 nails holding it on there.
I really like the deck and I'd really like it to stay on the house. If you could do that, that'd be great.
Moving this 45-ton wooden wonder will test Dwayne and Pat's mettle. Built in 1916, the house is crammed with period features, including the original plasterwork. But its age also means it's extremely fragile. Move it now, and it could collapse like a house of cards. To strengthen the house, Pat and Dwayne must cover its corners with lengths of wood and metal. Then wrap it tight with 2 massive steel cables. Braced and bolstered, the old home should hold together for the move. Dwayne and Pat must be careful. Tighten the cables too much, and they could slice through the house like cheese. Or worse still, slice through one of the team.
I've had one snap on us, it can cause some serious damage. Okay, hold it!
But there's a problem. Dwayne discovers the almost century-old timber is in a worse state than he thought.
You know, look at that, just falling apart there, yeah. She's fragile.
Looks scary. Lots of holes everywhere.
I mean, we don't know what is in behind here. It could be really bad.
We got these cables wrapped around the whole house, holding it together like a big package.
Whoa!
It's looking pretty feeble, but it's still standing, so that's a good sign.
I mean, there's no turning back now.
Coming up, will the Enders' dream home survive being wrenched off its footings?
It looks like it's falling right over.
Or fall at the first hurdle?
We stopped right on the patch of ice there.
In the prairies of southern Alberta, Dan and Joyce Enders have found their dream home, a 95-year-old house. It's been wrapped and strapped with huge steel cables for the move. Now Dwayne's team face their first real challenge: lift the 45-ton structure off its footings.
You're gonna keep those decks on?
The decks are gonna be a little questionable. There's a little bit of rot in that corner there.
Dan and Joyce can't bear to chop off the veranda and balcony. But these additions are only loosely attached to the house. Try traveling now, and these treasured features could be lost forever. So Dwayne's team has to do even more work to protect this antique house. They must dig out around the foundations and build a support rig underneath. A complex cradle of steel and wood beams will hold both the veranda and the balcony tight against the house to make sure they don't come loose. Only then can they move the house in one piece.
Smells horrible. It's all cat poop down here.
Squeezing the beams under Joyce's beloved veranda is back-breaking work.
A little bit more, guys.
It's -10, and the beams weigh almost 4 tons each.
There's a lot of fingers in the way and guys and hands and heads and stuff there. Biggest thing is not trying to hurt anybody.
Suddenly, the massive beam collides with a supporting wall.
Foundation wall!
Oh, nothing major then. It just caught the back of the wooden wall there. You hear that sound and it gives you a little chill. You don't know what it is there.
People are looking a little nervous, which makes me a little nervous.
Luckily for the crew underneath, these wooden piers absorb the beam's impact.
If the pier wasn't here, it could have fallen down in the back and then it would have kipped up in the front and busted the front up something bad. All right, good to go!
The crew battle the weather and dirt for 2 days, shoring up the house.
That's a bit of a challenge. See, we're all breathing a little bit heavier than we did.
Dwayne's now pinning his hopes on these 8 hydraulic jacks being powerful enough to lift this lumbering load.
Okay, I think we're ready. Now's a good time to say a little prayer.
Yeah, I've said a few prayers already.
Too much pressure in the wrong place, and Dwayne could tear the house apart.
Good!
It's making lots of noise.
Pull driver's side!
But the old house doesn't want to let go of its foundations.
Still sticking here.
Okay.
It needs some gentle persuasion.
Seems like they're wrecking the house. Figured we'd have to fix a few boards.
Oh, that popped up nicely. We got it now. Oh, we're good to go.
Next challenge, roll the house off its basement and onto the back of the truck.
There, it's moving.
Oh, there it goes.
Whoa!
But the crew hits a glitch. The tower holding the heaviest half of the house is slowly collapsing.
It looks like it's falling right over. That's crazy.
Dwayne's team works fast to build another tower.
One of our piers lets loose, and it's a catastrophic. You know, this thing could have been sitting on its side before we know it.
The new pier saves the day. With their house safely rolled off its foundations, Dan and Joyce check how it's holding up inside.
Oh wow, holy yikes. That's a big one.
The lift has taken its toll on the 95-year-old plasterwork.
This side of the plaster is separated right off the whole wall. So it's all gonna fall out.
But there's no time for second thoughts now. It's the day of the big move, and an assault course awaits the crew. The road may be in sight, but to reach it, they must drag the building a mile across a rough field. The steel rig underneath the house makes this load extra heavy, and there's a risk it could sink into the mud.
Okay, guys, let's go. Let's get it done. Good luck, fellas.
So excited. I can't even believe this is happening.
Pat and Dwayne have no time to waste. The temperature's rising, and the snow is melting.
It's gone a little stickier. It's a little warmer than usual this time of year.
But as soon as they reach the field, the crew is in trouble.
I was stuck, you know, not even 2 minutes into it.
We stopped right on a patch of ice there, so.
The truck's wheels lose traction on a thick patch of ice. But the 45-ton load is pushing the rest of the wheels into the thawing ground fast.
Stopped at the wrong spot, that's all we did.
Get a move on, boys, or you'll be sunk.
They look like they were stuck a little bit. It's kind of scary to watch.
Back up. Just need a little help to get going. Whenever you're ready.
The extra horsepower does the trick.
Oh, they're going now. Again.
Thank God we had our winch truck here to pull us out.
But there's still 7 miles to travel before this house reaches home.
As we keep moving, I think we'll be okay.
Up ahead, can the team keep this old house in one piece? Or will the wheels come off Joyce's dream home?
They know what they're doing, I hope.
In Alberta, Dwayne and Pat have rolled Joyce and Dan's dream home off its footings onto the open prairie.
I can't even believe this is happening.
It's taken them an hour to lug the antique building across a mile of boggy fields.
Slow and steady wins the race, I guess.
Now an even bigger challenge looms ahead. Dwayne must drag the long load up a steep ramp onto the highway.
Go this way. Give it a little gas. Stop. Whoa, 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 whoa.
The back end, the posts are dragging on the deck there.
The balcony is jammed into the ground.
Well, if those were to catch, I mean, that whole back piece could have fell right off.
With the truck half on the highway, Dwayne must act fast to free the balcony.
Okay, down a bit more.
So drop the truck and the back end will raise up a bit so you can come up the hill.
Lowering the front of the truck gives an extra few inches at the back.
That's good there.
Gonna be close.
The veranda is almost scraping the tarmac.
2 inches to spare. It's like a mile in the house moving language. You don't want to hurt anybody, especially when you're crossing traffic.
Keep coming.
Crazy. This is crazy.
Honestly, we had a disaster on our hands. I'm glad I got it before it was too late. We're good here. Let's go.
The crew picks up the pace on the open road. But up ahead, the going's about to get much tougher. Now the house is on the trailer. It soars over 31 feet high. And 11 major power lines cross the road up ahead. Edge too close, and this house will be toast. So the team need to coordinate crews of electricians to drive ahead and lift or lower the cables. If they time their operation right, the house will remain safe and the locals will keep their power. The electricians may be ready and waiting, but the house has got held up again.
Looking pretty tight right
Oh. Okay. Well, you don't have to slam on the brakes.
A little sketchy on the satellite dish there, but I think they'll still have TV.
This is the first lift of the day here. I'm not even too sure how much room we have on this one. But
if anybody was touching any steel or anything from that truck on the house load movers, you know, they could get electrocuted before the fuse blows. You don't get a second chance with electricity.
Okay, I'm just gonna creep under.
Just worried that, you know, if they go up another inch or two, I mean, then snap that line right off on us.
So this one will be close.
We only had about 4 or 5 inches up top there, so they say it's enough. We'll take it as it's enough.
One line down, but 10 more to go before nightfall. 6 hours after the move began, and the stables are at last in sight. The whole family rides in to walk their new house home.
It's the perfect way to bring it home. So the home stretch, we're on it.
No, not every day we follow horses, and that's for sure. Actually, this is a first for me.
It's a great day. I'm gonna cry now.
Hold the tears, Joyce. There's one final furrow ahead, and it's a deep one.
We got some scary stuff coming to get it onto the property, so we've got to go over a creek even.
The crossing over the creek is 12 feet wide, but the wheels under the house are 20 feet apart.
So we have to bridge across it with timbers and beams. The hardest part of the move is just coming up here shortly.
The crew race to rig up a makeshift bridge, but the light is fading and the clock is ticking.
It's almost here though. It's so exciting. Like 100 feet.
60 tons of house and truck are about to roll across this pile of wooden blocks. There are no second chances.
Only got the road and the bridge we built, so exact. We got to be perfectly lined up.
Okay, good? Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, hold it.
As the bridge dips under the weight, the crew risked life and limb to keep the wheels level.
If something fails there, then you could have the house falling down. You could have a lot of things happening here.
That's kind of scary.
Okay.
Very interesting looking bridge, but they know what they're doing. I hope.
Okay, good?
But watching the house is terrifying. Like, thought it would fall off.
A little hairy there for a second or two. I mean, if those blocks ever split out, we got a pile of firewood on our hands.
The Enders' friends and family arrive to watch the house pull in.
Oh gosh, here it comes.
No pressure, Dwayne.
You gotta watch that back veranda. Don't hit the fence and the horses and the people.
Looks like I don't like that.
Coming up, will the team fall at the final fence
The house is literally sliding on soap.
as they try to slide the huge house home?
It's soap in it. When you step on it, you're gonna slip and fall on your ass.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Joyce and Dan's dream home has reached their stables,
That's all you get this Christmas.
Take and wait.
but the move's not over yet. Now the crew must slide the house onto its new basement.
Pretty close, pretty close. So excited.
Dwayne has a trick up his sleeve.
Soap, eh? Does it do good dishes too, or?
I don't know.
Soaping the beams under the house should give it a smooth ride, but hopefully not too smooth.
When you step on it, you're gonna slip and fall on your ass. And the same thing with the house. It can, if you're not paying attention, she can take off on you one way or the other. Excellent, boys. Okay, here we go.
It's just sliding on soap.
Like the smoothest is smooth the whole trip.
Yeah, that's right.
Finally, touchdown.
High five, guys. Good job.
Yeah!
After an epic 7.5-mile cross-country trek, Dwayne's crew has beaten the odds, and the old house is still in one piece.
It's a little nerve-wracking getting in here, but hey, we're happy.
To pick up a house that's been sitting for 100 years and move it across the prairies, I think is a pretty big accomplishment.
Gonna be okay, I guess.
It's here, so you know, we want to get in there.
2 days after the move, and the Enders family are brimming with ideas on how to make the most of their stunning location.
No, they have to go that way.
Joyce has already planned out all the things that we're doing.
We'll have a bridge go over the creek. Of course, lots of flowers, and we have a bunch of tree planting to do so we can be protected from the north wind. I get to graduate. I don't have to live in the barn anymore. I get to move into a house again.
Dan's got his work cut out,
This is great.
restoring the 95-year-old interior.
They just don't build things like this anymore. I just can't wait to get in here, start taking the paint off and making it into the beautiful piece of architecture that it was.
Wow.
With a bedroom each for the first time in their lives, the 5 kids also can't wait to move in.
Actually, they're going to lose a really good excuse, though. Because when people say to them, what, were you born in a barn? They go, yeah.
It'll be a few months before the family can live there.
Here we are.
But the old house already feels like home.
It's a dream come true. It's amazing that everything worked out and that it's sitting here right now.
To our new house, first meal.
Can't believe it's all happened.